I still turn around when the floorboards speak, like maybe you came home. But it's only the house remembering I'm sleeping here alone. Your coffee cup is gone now, your coat left with your knit. The air still feels familiar, like it learned to hold my pain. I waited for your voice to fill the empty space, but you never came back, and the silence took your place. The silence took your place, sat beside me every night, wore the shape of your goodbye in the corners of we had. But there's nothing I can face. You left me with your absence, and the silence took your place. The radio keeps playing low to make the room less cold, but every song sounds lonely now, like a story left untold. I keep the windows open just to hear the outside breathe, 'cause quiet feels too heavy when it's lying next to me. I waited for an answer, for a sign, for any trace, but love stopped making, and the silence took your place. The silence took your place, sat beside me every night, wore the shape of your goodbye in the corners of we had. But there's nothing I can face. You left me with your absence, and the silence took your place. If quiet had a heartbeat, it would sound like missing you. If emptiness could hold me, it would feel the way you used to. I don't know how to live here with your ghost in every space. You didn't mind. The silence took your place. The silence took your place. Now it sleeps on your side, whispers through the midnight. Where I used to feel alive, I reached for what we had, but it vanished without grace. You left me with forever, and the silence took your place. I called your name again tonight, but only silence replied. I walked back into daylight, like I didn't lose my mind. Had a smile on my face, and a storm I kept inside. They said I looked much stronger, like I finally learned to heal, but they never saw the nights when the pain became too real. I cleaned up all the pieces before anyone came through, but every broken part of me was still calling out for you. Nobody saw the damage, nobody knew the cost, nobody saw me searching for the person that I lost. I carried all the wreckage behind a steady face. You left my heart in ashes, but nobody saw the damage. I changed the way I answer when they ask how I've been. I say I'm doing better, with a lie beneath my skin. Your goodbye didn't leave bruises, they could point to with their eyes, so they thought I wasn't hurting just because I looked alive. I hid the worst of heartbreak where no one else could see. Now everybody thinks I'm fine except the ghost inside of me. If pain could leave a picture, they would finally understand how hard it was to keep breathing with some wounds live my hands. But I learned to look okay while disappearing from the pain. Nobody saw the damage, nobody heart that day, but nobody could tell. I stood there smiling through the pain, like I was doing well. You said we both would be okay, like love had simply changed. But I felt flowers on a grave every time you spoke my name. I didn't cry in front of you, I saved it for the rain. Watch the life we built together turn into yesterday. I smiled through the funeral of us, buried all the dreams we loved, laid forever in the ground without making a sound. You walked away like it was done. I lost the moon, I lost the sun. No one knew what dying was. I smiled through the funeral of us. A memory sat in empty chairs like ghosts dressed up in white. I shook hands with the ending and pretended I was fine. Every promise lowered slowly into silence, into dust. I wanted to beg for one more chance, but pride stood there with us. You looked so calm while leaving, like your heart had made peace. I was holding back an ocean behind my quiet teeth. I smiled through the funeral of us, buried all the dreams we loved, laid forever in the ground without making a sound. You walked away like it was done, that used to keep us alive. But the world kept turning softly, like nothing turned to dust. So I stood there in the silence, the funeral of us. Someone should have played our song, someone should have said goodbye, someone should have mourned our loves, held my tears behind my eyes. You left me with the lies. I lost the moon, I lost the sun, no one saw my heart give up. I smiled through the funeral of us. I said goodbye without a fuss and smiled through the funeral of us. It didn't end with screaming, no storm inside the room. Just your eyes looking distant, like they'd already moved. You said my name so softly, but it didn't feel the same. I heard the ending hiding in the way your voice had changed. But silence filled the air, the saddest kind of leaving is when love is barely there. Love died in a whisper, no one heard it fade. No broken glass, no final fight, just feelings slipping away. You let go so quietly, I didn't know what hurt, till goodbye became a breath and love died in a whisper. Your hand was in my hand, but your heart was far from mine. I could feel the distance growing, one quiet inch at a time. You smiled like you were sorry, but sorry couldn't stay. I watched forever disappear without a sound to blame, to prove there was still care, but you only gave me silence, and silence left me there. Love died in a whisper, no one heard it fade. No broken glass, no final fight, just feelings slipping away. You let go so quietly, I didn't know what hurt, shout. Maybe someone stops loving you before the words come out, and maybe that's what broke me. Not the lead, but the way you made the end sound gentle while it took my life away. Love died in a whisper, soft enough to miss. One last look, one almost empty kiss. You let go so quietly. No one heard forever end when love died in a whisper. No thunder, no goodbye, just a whisper and we died. I stood there laughing with my friends, like nothing broke inside, but every joke felt far away from the tears I tried to hide. You left a wound beneath my ribs no one could ever see. I looked alive to everyone, but I was losing me. They said, you seem much better now. I nodded like it's true, but all the blood my heart still lost was spelling out your name in blue. Smiling through the longest nights, everybody saw my face. I was breaking in the light, acting like I was alright. You left scars beneath my skin, and I was bleeding in plain sight. I wore my favorite jacket, like armor on my bones, but nothing kept the cold away when I walked back home alone. The mirror saw the damage, the sink heard every prayer. I asked myself how I could hurt when nobody knew it was there. I didn't need attention, I just needed someone near. But people missed the warning signs. I was bleeding in plain sight. Smiling through the longest nights, everybody saw my face. I was breaking in the light, acting like I was alright. You left scars beneath my skin, and I was bleeding in plain sight. Maybe if my hurt was louder, maybe if my hands were red, maybe if the world could see the war inside my head, someone would have held me close and asked me not to lie when I said I was okay with empty, tired eyes. I was bleeding in plain sight, falling apart beneath the light. Everybody watched me stand, nobody reached a hand. I was breaking in the light, still pretending I could fight. You left scars beneath my skin, and I was bleeding in plain sight. I smiled so they think I survived, but I was bleeding in plain sight.